Genesis 1:26-31. Yahuah said, "Let us, Father, Son, and Ruakh, make mankind in our image and our likeness, and let them have complete authority over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, the tame beasts and the wild beasts, and over all the evil, and over everything that creeps upon the earth." So Yahuah created man in his own image. In the image of and likeness of Yahuah, he created him. Male and female, he created them. And Yahuah baruch them and said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, using all its vast resources in the service of Yahuah and man, and have dominion over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air, and over every living creature that moves upon the earth." And Yahuah said, "See, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of all the land, and every tree with seeds in its fruit. You shall have them for food, and to all the animals and on the earth, and to every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps on the ground, to everything in which there is the breath of life. I have given every green plant for food." And it was so. So Yahuah saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good, suitable and pleasant. And Yahuah approved it completely. And there was evening and there was morning, a sixth day. Now, the Bible is a spiritual book. Genesis 1:26-31. And Yahuah has given us authority over everything. But one thing he wants me to harp on is be fruitful and multiply. A lot of people think he's like, have a lot of children. But tell you the truth, he's not just talking about children. He's talking about, I give you a skill. Be fruitful and multiply with that skill. I give you a word. Be fruitful and multiply with that word. I give you my name. Be fruitful and multiply by proclaiming and speaking my name. That is what Yahuah is saying. Everything that he has for you to do, be fruitful and multiply in it. Be the best you can be, day by day, situation by situation, moment by moment. That is what he's saying. That just like Yahusha always gives parables. Why? So that they can understand the spiritual realm. He has to say, it's like the farmer sowing the seed. He threw it, and some fell by the wayside. Some fell on hollow ground. Some fell on softer ground. Some fell on hard ground. And then he put that in there. And that is what he was saying. Because so many people, we need to be those soft ground. When Yahuah plants something in us, that he wants us to let it develop, let it set up its roots, so then it can come up and be strong. It has the nutrients it needs. By us getting in his presence, by us seeking his face, reverencing, honoring, practicing obedience, practicing love, practicing joy, and more, being those representatives of Yahuah. That is what he's saying. Be fruitful and multiply. Yes, and when you have your children, or if you have your children, or you don't even have to have children. You can have spiritual children. You planted that seed. And then he asks you to keep working with that person. That's a spiritual child. And you want them to be bigger and better than you. You want them to grow. And sometimes he'll say, I want you to shade that person. I want you to help that person. I want you to encourage that person. That's the same thing with your own children. You want them to grow up having their own personal relationships with Yahuah, being discipled by Yahusha, letting Ruakh help them to do what they are due, because each and every one of us have a different call. We got similar gifts, but we have a different call. Even in the bloodlines and in the families, everybody has their own specific call. It's like puzzle pieces. Each person has his own little piece that they got to put together. And when it's put together, we are added to the bigger and larger puzzle piece of Yahuah's will and way. But it starts everyone has to fit in. They have to work on their own individual puzzle pieces as well. And he'll tell you, you fit over here. You're a corner piece, you're edge, you're the ones in the middle. Wherever you might be, it's valid. Because you ever put a puzzle together and you got 5 holes in that puzzle, and you're looking all around for your 5 pieces. You finally almost finished, and 5 pieces is missing. You might find one under the table. You might find one over there. You might realize that your baby, you picked up a mess and it looked crazy and you didn't know what it was because your baby salivated and melted it and chewed it all up. You didn't know what it was. You just picked it up and threw it away. Like, oh my goodness, that might have been my puzzle piece. Sometimes you just can't find that piece. And so then you have a piece, you know what it looks like. You're like, okay, I got the full gist, but there's some pieces missing. You're like, oh well, it's complete now. That's what Yahuah does with each and every one of us. He wants us to know that when he says be fruitful and multiply, he really means it. Not just with children, he means it in who it is you are. He gave you a call. He gave you worth. Be fruitful and multiply in the worth that you have. So till next time, know that Yahuah loves you. I love you. Other people love you. Accept our love. Love yourself as Yahuah loves you. Value yourself as Yahuah values you. You are worth it. Well, my life story don't tell me. Yes, it is. Everybody's testimony is important. Because you don't know who's listening. You don't know who's been through the similar thing or who's been through something even worse. But because they heard your testimony, they can say, you know what? Yahuah did it for them. He'll do it for me. Earn your own throne, and of course, get with Yahuah on this. Shalom.